Hey there, and welcome to the most professional podcast on Apple Podcasts. You are welcome to.
You are watching.
You are watching. Or you are welcome to. At this point, you really are welcome to. Hey, welcome to Mere Christianity. I'm Jonty.
I'm Drabs.
I'm Laura.
And we are your hosts for this here podcast. We decided to get together and talk about Christmas and Kanye and elections and all sorts of other cool stuff that's coming up. And basically just get together in a pub. Hang out, exactly. And we wanted to give you some shout outs as well to the people who have been really lovely and have been listening to us. So we're going to go through some of the who listens to Mere Christianity and where. And why, and what the hell, guys, and, all of those sorts of things. And there was other stuff we were going to be talking about, but I can't for the life of me remember what. Anyway, point is, we are... tell the nice people where we are, Laura.
We are in Berro Lounge in Didcot, and it's great and nice.
Describe Berro Lounge to people who don't know what Berro Lounge is, guys.
It's just, it's just a fun place. It's a bit eclectic. We've got some nice art on the wall. Picture a massive portrait of Karl Marx, because that is what is in here. We've got, school science lab stools that you could sit on that we're not going to sit on because it would destroy both of mine and Jonty's backs.
That's right.
You got some jazzy lampshades.
The lampshades game is strong, actually, generally.
Not the ones up here, but the ones downstairs are delightful.
Yeah. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, everything about the decor of Berro Lounge is actually quite strong. The upholstery, the flooring, the decoration, the portraits are actually spectacular. You love Berro Lounge until you go to the next town along and you find the identical portraits and the identical upholstery, and then you look on their website and you figure out they got 50 places and they all have
it's
more than 50.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's 80 or something. It's a regular question on the Berro Lounge quiz. Which we have never won.
We have never won. Oh, we came so close to winning. And then these scumbags, I hope they're listening, and I hope they know that Jesus doesn't love them.
Ashamed.
Yeah. We had one, and then someone was like, "Ew, can you please count us deaf again?" And then it turned out that they had won. But had they really? No.
No, lame, boo.
Lolo's not cross about it at all, though. I think
I'm so mad.
But back to our listeners.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
hey,
sorry.
listeners. Yeah. So, we wanted to say hi to you and say, first of all, a big thanks to everybody who has done a review for us. Ooh. So, we're going to start off... Oh, wait, this is Mere Christianity. What are we drinking here?
Oh.
Okay, so Lola, you're drinking your classic Jack and Coke.
I am.
I am drinking a Brewdog what?
That is a Punk IPA.
Punk IPA, which is a very nice beer.
Yeah. My glass did stay for press, but this is also a Brewdog Punk IPA.
Are you one of those people, whenever I buy a beer and they don't have the right glass, people are like, hey, is it okay if your Stella doesn't come in a Stella glass? And I'm like, fuck it off. Yes. Why are you asking?
Absolutely not. I'm
what?
leaving immediately.
But you actually noticed what glass yours came in?
I don't know. I mean, the Stella glasses are particularly
They
delightful.
are quite pretty.
Yeah,
they are
very
pretty,
nice.
to be fair. So it's basically, it's like drinking wine. It's fancy.
I mean, I would also recommend a Stowford Press as a drink. I know you're not drinking it, but
Maybe the next round.
Is that a cider?
it is a cider.
Nice.
But back to the listeners.
Okay, back to the listeners. Donor-centric till the end. Drabs. Okay, Lolo, read us some of the reviews. What's your? We've got 3.
We have
Count
3.
Them 3.
And you know
5-star reviews.
They are all 5 stars.
All 5
and we
stars.
love them all equally.
We do.
If you give us a 4-star review,
thank you so
we
much.
will love it less equally.
We will. So you got to give us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
But we want to shout out to the people who gave them to us. So.
We do. The first review comes from May You Always Be.
I think that's from somebody I know actually, who is probably saying "May you always be kissing Stalin," which was it's a joke that we had in a Russian restaurant. It's not an endorsement of the gulags yet.
Anyway, back to the listeners. She opens her beautiful review with the phrase, "I hate podcasts," which is a good starting point. But she goes on to say, "But I love this one. I feel like I'm sitting with my friends, having a beer and chatting. listen to this if you want to listen to some interesting people chatting about interesting things.
Man, I love that review, and what I love about it is that is exactly when we chatted about this, like really early on, like the vibe we wanted to go for. That is it, nail on the head. That's what we wanted to achieve. So that means a lot. Thank you.
That's really, really awesome. Thank you to May You Always Be Kissing, or May You Always Be, who gave us 5 stars.
Love it.
Here's the other one.
Another 5-star review from Alex Baker Photo, who I think we've all met.
We have all met him. No, we don't know him. It's a total stranger.
No, I mean, who is this person who we don't know? He starts with superb. You know that feeling of sitting in a pub/bar with your buddies and putting the world to rights? This podcast absolutely captures that. Come for the beer and banter, stay for the politics and theology.
Aww,
Thank you, absolute stranger
nice.
Alex Baker. And then review, last but certainly not least, comes from absolute stranger Malky Curry. And he says, and he gives us 5 stars, and he says, an excellent alternative Christian podcast. Really interesting so far. Great guests and good chat. Lots of challenging and progressive ideas. So far, he's loving it. In September, he was loving it. Hasn't said anything since then, but
That's absolutely fine. Okay, so thanks guys for sending your reviews, and if you're listening now and you can be asked, please be asked and give us a 5-star review and tell people something, and share this as well with your friends, and just generally any kind of interaction, subscription helps us out in terms of other people listening. I'll be honest, I was actually thinking that only people that know us listen to this thing, and then I looked at the stats, and it's so cool. We got people listening in Russia, or at least VPNs listening in Russia. We've got Ben. Actually, talk about what countries we got listeners in.
Yeah. So we got UK top and US second. After that, it's South Africa, Germany, Nepal. 16 listeners in Nepal.
Shout out to Nepal. Hey guys.
Hey.
Spain, Canada, New Zealand, Hungary, Australia, and then we're down into the ones now, and it's UAE.
Yeah.
Wow.
Naturally.
Ireland, Portugal, Afghanistan.
Yes.
Hey, sir. Kenya, Russia, Mexico, Bangladesh, and Belgium. Okay, and we're going to zoom in here on our map on the USA. Just to break it down by state, because that's really interesting.
We're looking at a map here, and I
gotta say, I was expecting a bit more New England. Nothing in New England, actually, except for, hello, Massachusetts, just one of you, that's fine. 22 in Virginia.
It is for lovers.
Wow, not even West Virginia, actually, like the real Virginia.
Wait, West Virginia and Virginia are different places?
The North-South divide on the Civil War.
Wait, the song West Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm particularly disappointed by the absence of a single listener in West Virginia, given that my brother is living there presently. And actually come to that, Tennessee, my sister.
All right, so you're sending them this, and you gotta go, guys, where the hell are you?
Yeah.
Alrighty, cool.
Who else have we got?
Texas, bit of a show in Texas.
We got a lot more people in Texas than most of the other states. Again, in terms of the politics of this podcast, kind of surprised. But that's awesome.
We misjudged you, Texas.
Yeah. Texas is for lovers.
Maybe?
They're the what state? The gun state. The don't mess with state. The Lone Star State.
It is the
That's
Lone
what
Star
it is.
State,
It's the Lone Star State. Okay, cool.
A Lone Star.
I don't. I think their flag has got a Lone Star on it. Yeah. Well, hello, Texas.
Hey. We know
nice.
so much about you.
Nice to hear from you. So we wanted to shout out to those guys. We also wanted to shout out to some of the people who've been interacting with us on Twitter. Twitter, we are, by the way, Beer Exianity.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
Oh, you were going to say. Oh, wait. You said that. This is patriarchy in action.
I know. I feel weird.
Wow. No, this is tokenism in action, which is just another aspect of the patriarchy.
It's right. I already read something out. You carry on.
Okay. Well, all right. So. I wanted to particularly say hello to Relatable Content, aka Raquelita E, Raquelita _E on Twitter, who has been sending us cool things and just saying fun things. One of them was a Satan pun in an advert in London, which I think is kind of cool. Temple of Satan. .co.uk, which is apparently just hot fried chicken. Weird. Thank you very much, Relatable Content / Raquelita, and also for Thank you to Bare Christianity for the idea of a cauldron full of hummus. That was you, Laura. Which I will be adopting henceforth as my Halloween observance. Absolutely no thanks to for the image of Jonty Langley dressed as a sexy cat. I still think that's hot, and I think relatable content that you need to open your heart
I
to
can't
that.
remember saying that, but I'm so glad it struck a chord.
I think you were super, super high on
yeah.
antihistamines, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think you were. And we've had lots of people who've just been liking tweets from us. Amy Aitken, let's give a shout out to Amy Aitken.
Hey, Amy.
Consistently one of our most popular podcasts. And she, episodes.
Oh, right, sorry, I thought you were talking about her specifically.
We're now looking at a picture of you, Amy. It's lovely. We've had a lot of comments about that as well in person. Just of people going like, "Oh wow, I love Amy Aiken. She's amazing." So Amy, I maintain Amy should be hosting her own podcast actually because she's just superb.
Yeah, I would listen to that. I would
Exactly.
subscribe to that.
I would totally subscribe to that.
To this podcast.
Guys, no. What the hell? No, you're absolutely correct. And also Andy Kie, he's been really, really cool about interacting with us on Twitter as well. Andy, I don't know how to pronounce it. Andy Key. Andy K. I should know how to pronounce this, Andy, because I feel like I've known you for a long time. So those are our Twitter shout-outs.
All right.
Nice.
Wait, what else are we going to be talking about? I can't remember. Wait, we should just have a sip of beer. Let's just slow down.
Yeah.
Done a lot of business here.
I finished my
cheers.
drink.
Cheers. Oh, well, cheers to your empty glass over there.
Yeah, he's going to get another drink.
Maybe we'll get another drink. In fact. And we are back.
What the hell, dude? My glass is still empty.
I literally paused it and was like, okay, we know what we're going to be talking about. I didn't buy anybody a drink. So
RIP.
we are not back. You just hang on a second and I'm going to go and get a drink. And then we will be back. Okay, I am now back with drinks. Laura, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Stowford Press, and if I finish my Stowford Press by the end of this podcast, I will probably be falling asleep, so, I'm going to sip slowly.
That is a wild party attitude to drinking. I like it. And we're drinking Brewdog stuff.
The punk
and
dog,
the punk
Elvis,
Elvis
juice,
punk face.
something.
Yeah, like, hey, aren't they supposed to be pretty alternative as a brewery? Shouldn't
so,
they be
yeah.
sponsoring us? I think they should. Damn it, like, Brewdog, come on, get your act together. Okay, so. Oh, that is very nice. Actually, cheers, guys.
Oh, cheers.
Nice to see you. I was saying to them earlier that I was like, oh guys, I've just done a lot of these without, you guys, and we should really have them. And Drabs is all like, oh well, shit, I've missed a whole bunch of them then. I did one, with, but yeah.
Yeah, which you recorded from a caravan, I seem to recall.
Yes, well, I was actually in a harvester or something, or a hungry horse, or something like that. Oh yes, Christmas. How are we feeling about Christmas? Because Christmas is coming up.
I am feeling unprepared because I have bought 2 halves of presents, I think, and that is it. So
and tell the listeners how prepared you usually are.
Okay, so I'm getting loads of stick for having a Christmas book, which is just,
You said that very quietly. Say it loud.
I've got a Christmas book. So I'll write down in my book at the beginning of November, who I'm buying presents for, my Christmas card list. Everyone is giving me stick for this, but I found my mum's Christmas preparations the other day. They have their Christmas card list is a spreadsheet that they update and change every year with everyone's names and address.
You are truly your parents'
I
child.
received a card last year, and then she also has a table of. She has a 3-page long list of everyone she's buying presents for, which is decorated and printed out with what she's buying, where she's buying it from, whether it's been bought yet, has it been wrapped, what is the deal? I'm not that crazy. I can show you pictures of this because
That'd be great for our listeners. Actually.
Yeah, that'd be really entertaining.
Also, we couldn't put it anywhere because it's got who's getting a Christmas card.
Okay, you want to break the system?
GDPR as well.
Yeah,
you need to
that
respect
is true.
that.
That is true. It's during Christmas. Okay. Do you have a Christmas book, Drabs?
I do not have a Christmas book, no.
Do you even have a Christmas list?
Anyway, Christmas, yeah. How does the progressive Christian engage with Christmas? How does one celebrate the birth of Christ? engage with culture whilst avoiding the trappings of capitalism.
Yeah, because we can't very well preach about, hey guys, you should get involved in Halloween, it's super fun, and then go, Christmas, I'm sorry, we can 100% Scrooge. That isn't. I really like Christmas.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I find it fun. I don't love the aesthetics like I love the aesthetics of Halloween, but I
You're
love
not
giving
sold.
presents. And I find that really fun. And I used to hate Christmas carols, but I actually kind of like them now.
To be clear, you say getting presents, you actually mean buying presents for other people, I think.
No, I
because-
said giving presents.
Oh yeah, giving. Sorry, I heard getting.
Yeah,
Because
no.
you get the most amazing presents.
I'm quite good at giving presents, I think.
Yeah.
You bought me a Ravenclaw mug last Christmas.
I did get you a Ravenclaw mug,
I use
yes.
it every morning for my cup of coffee.
You bought me a teeny tiny bottle of Writer's Tears.
Writer's Tears, by the way. If you've never drunk Writer's Tears, greatest whiskey in the world. No, I mean, it's I love Christmas. I love giving people presents, and it feels, I don't know, when people get all kind of scroogey about Christmas, I'm always like, and I understand like the consumerism is bad, and the commercialism, I guess, is bad, but I mean, it's going to be commercial anyway, right? So
When
might as well.
everyone's most anticipated thing about Christmas is the adverts that are being put out, I find.
Okay, that I do
Yeah,
not
I don't get
understand.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
guys. Like, and people like in tears about a John Lewis advert. Although I did buy my Christmas tree at John Lewis like 2 years after coming to this country, which is the first time I could afford to buy a Christmas tree because being an immigrant is hard, yo. And we have a Christmas tree, which is amazing. It is pitch black. It is matte black.
that's
It sucks the light out of the rest of the room. It is a black hole of a Christmas tree, and for the first 5 years we owned it, we did not have anything but black decorations for it. So it was so on brand. We now have
And the
some
lights,
silver
the lights
ones.
were black.
The lights were red but really dim. So it's a really sinister tree.
Sometimes I speak to you and I think, can you ever be any more on brand? And then you tell me about your matte black Christmas tree with dim red lights and black decorations, and I think, no,
It makes me so happy.
So this is a proud year for my Christmas tree, because when I bought my Christmas tree, obviously I did a lot of research as to
course you did.
what was the best in terms of impact on the environment, buying the plastic fake tree or the wood real tree.
Oh yeah,
And
what is the truth there?
consensus was if you get 10 years out of your fake tree, the overall impact on the environment is better.
Boom!
Boom. And year number 10 for my fake tree this year.
Okay, I'm way beyond 10, so I'm doing amazingly on this
so well.
without even realizing.
But I would say, apparently growing, like having one in a pot that you can like keep growing and reuse. as
Because
pots
you
is-
absorb more carbon each year.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
fair.
also we have one that we have a real tree that we burn throughout the year. So I don't know if that's
What? You should.
like no, it's not like
That is so cruel. I mean, I know they're not animals, but still, like, they can feel,
no,
I
like
think.
when it's like dead.
Throughout the year.
Yeah, so like we'll just like chop it up like.
Oh, okay.
like,
I'm just trying to picture this Christmas tree in your corner. It's just repeatedly setting fire to it.
no, we have like a wood burning like fireplace.
Side note, I was standing outside a girlfriend's house in South Africa. I think, Kate, if you're listening, this was you. We were standing outside your house or your parents' house at the time, and opposite us in this quite fancy neighborhood was this giant palm tree. I don't know if you know how palm trees go. They kind of, as they grow, they have these layers of kind of like dead stuff going out there, so it looks like lines going all the way up. This police car roars up, stops, a policeman jumps out, holds a lighter to the bottom of the kind of like dead bits on the tree, and it goes up like the towering inferno.
What a film.
It was genuinely, it was insane. We were just kind of standing there kind of in the shadows. I'm assuming we'd be making out. I really hope we were making out. And like now suddenly terrified because, I mean, you know, cops, but like South African cops as well. Yeesh. And the towering, like really tall palm tree of doom. So I phoned the cops, which in retrospect may have been a dumb idea, and I was just like, hey, a cop has just, shown up and, set fire to this tree. So then a cop shows up, who I think may have been the same guy. who quite like, in a quite agitated way, understand in South Africa the cops are very much armed and have very much in the past done some terrible things. And he's in an agitated way going like, so you called? Yes, I did. And he's like, and what exactly did you see? And I was just like, just a guy, setting fire to the tree. And he's just like, did you see who it was? And I was like, no, I did not. And that is the second most afraid I've been of a cop in my life. Anyway, Merry Christmas.
Fire safety. If you have a real tree, you have to be careful because that shit goes up in 10 seconds and you set fire to that.
Also, weirdly, conifers, right, and pine trees. Oh. When I you're nodding like you know what I'm going to say.
I'm nodding like, do you remember our conifer chainsaw and bonfire and beer party?
Oh, yeah. So Drabs and I have been quite drunk in trees with chainsaws and then
making fires.
Making fires. That's really all you need to know about that. It seemed like an excellent idea at the time, and it was.
It was.
So in Wales recently, driving through a whole bunch of forested areas in like Snowdonia and stuff, I saw pine trees that had gone like brown and red, and it's all very beautiful amongst the green, but aren't pine trees supposed to be evergreen?
Yeah.
So what the hell is that?
Dead tree? I don't know.
Why are trees dying? Anyway, dead pine trees. Hectic. Merry Christmas. really thought that would be more of a conversation starter, if I'm honest. But,
I don't know much about trees, man.
Don't know what you want from me. Okay, wait. While we're on the subject of Christmas, and we will get back to like what's the deal with ethical Christmas and all that. Okay, wait. Ethical Christmas. I think we can all agree that if you give somebody a coupon for hugs, you're a dick.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because
to be honest, and I hate to say this, but if you buy someone a goat from Oxfam, you may also be a dick.
It is better than a coupon. Somebody once gave me a bunch of coupons, and I'm sure they were doing this in the best possible. But like, what kind of animal cashes in those coupons? Like, because some of these coupons are pretty cool in theory, and I was like, oh, that's really nice of you. Like, you can interview my famous friend.
Yeah.
But like, if I like 2 years later go, actually it'd be super useful to interview that chick from Downton Abbey, because that's who it was.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to happen, is it?
Well,
and
I don't know.
People will hate you for that. Depending
on the benefactor, if you stick them on eBay, you could probably do pretty. Like regifting, do you know?
We should do that. Yes. Okay. So you don't love the giving a goat from Oxfam?
I don't love that. No.
It is a terrible gift.
In what sense?
Well, because like nobody goes, "Yay, I got a piece of paper." Like I give to charity, and I like charities, and I work for a charity. But when you give me a gift, I want you to give me something for me.
Yeah, because if you're giving to charity,
give to charity.
The main beneficiary is the beneficiary, and the second beneficiary is you.
Yeah. Now you want to squeeze even
party.
more value. What kind of Tory bullshit is that? This is the privatization of Christmas. This is unacceptable. Keep it in the public ownership between you and the recipient of your gift. Okay. So overconsumption at Christmas I find complicated because I want to give people lots of presents, and I get into a gift spiral. When I first started giving presents to one of my staff at work, I then realized that the rest of the staff would find out and would feel left out. So I ended up having to buy 5 gifts. And if you want to give nice gifts, then it becomes a huge time suck, but also like really quite expensive.
Yeah, cost of being in love, man.
Shut up. I feel personally attacked by this relatable content. Yeah, but that is something you can't really get into, you know? So, like, the ethics of spending money on other people, I still think gift giving is good, because I'm anti-consumerism, but there is something beautiful about the act of gift.
Yeah.
And not everybody's a crafter, you know? I can't crochet you know, a CD.
I always would say, and I think this is my general policy of gifts or something, like, I would rather not receive a gift than receive something that you can tell that somebody has bought you because they feel like they have to buy you a present. Like I would much rather not receive a gift. Like I would much rather somebody spend like not a lot of money on something, because I genuinely don't care about people spending money on me. I would much rather somebody think like, oh, okay, this is something that you would actually really like and stuff like that. So when people buy me secondhand books, because that is a really, really good present for me, because I love secondhand books. I just like secondhand books, I don't know. But they're not expensive, you don't have to buy a lot, and I feel like it's the kind of thing of like somebody really thought about, ooh, that's something this person would really like. I would much rather have that than somebody feel like, oh, I must buy them this thing and I have to spend this amount of money on them because they spent this amount of money on me and da-da-da.
Are you guys tough to buy for though? Because my wife tells me she gets super stressed out at birthdays and Christmas because I'm quite good at giving gifts, and she finds it stressful, and the look of pain on her face while I'm opening gifts is appalling, because she's like, and she's apologizing the whole time, oh, it's rubbish, it's not very good. She gives great gifts. Like, she's given me really wonderful gifts every year that I've known her, but doesn't feel like she does. And to be fair, she's not as good as me, you know, and that's a tough thing, obviously. So like do you suffer from that?
I am terrible at giving gifts, and like everyone in my life knows this. I am awful at buying gifts. I'm awful at wrapping them. I am just a nightmare. And I feel like going into any relationship that I start with that baseline of like, it will be your birthday, and I may not buy you a present, and if I buy you a present, it will probably be bad. And I'm like, I'm so sorry for this. Maybe this is me just being a terrible friend. I don't know, but yeah.
I think being male does make things a bit harder, because it just rules out some markets that I don't know that.
I mean, not for me, man, but yeah.
Sure. Okay. But generally, people talk about guys as being harder to buy for, and highly opinionated guys as being even harder. So that puts me in a very.
I really don't know what that.
Yeah. So I tend to broadcast that I'm open, that I love just how much I love whiskey, and if you could just buy me whiskey and enough whiskey to last me through the year.
Wait, how old are you?
Old enough to ask for whiskey for Christmas.
It's legit not gonna say. Wow. Because I think when I turned 40, I've never expressed an interest in whiskey in my life.
And then suddenly it all came.
At 40, people gave me so much whiskey. Now, it turns out I had actually got into whiskey early on, fighting the stereotype tooth and nail. But that is a thing. After a while, all you'll get is whiskey.
Yeah. And one can only long for
I also, do you know the things that make me really happy now? And I always just think of them as jokes of presents you get for guys. Pants and socks.
Oh, I love socks, yeah.
New socks, new
socks,
pants.
Wonderful. Nothing like a feel of new socks.
Oh, so good.
That's a useful gift. I don't want to spend my money on buy myself underwear. No, I get all that.
I mean, I think they're from my wife, so I am. But it's just nice to have them, you know?
Yeah. Let's move on to.
I will say that I am super easy to buy for, just because I have the lowest threshold of what I would like. You could buy me a bag of crisps for Christmas, and I'd be really happy.
Sold.
Christmas.
Genuinely, for my birthday, people in the place where we work genuinely bought me crisps for my birthday, and I was like, this is great. Love this. Snacked on them for 3 days.
That's very nice.
I know, literally just buy the crisps and I'll be very happy.
Okay, any tips for not just not selling out to capitalism, but also remembering Christ through this season?
I think the important thing is never to write Xmas. I think that's really I think that's why Jesus died for us.
I think so. And if you have any more recommendations like that, could you tweet us at Beer Xtianity?
tweet Beer Xtianity of how we can keep Christum. If we can keep Christum in Christmas, that'd be great. Give us some ideas for how to do that. I used to, when I was first a Christian, and actually before I became a Christian, I was more serious about this. Before I became a Christian, but I was clearly on the threshold, I would write Christ Mass with 2 S's, just to make people know that I hadn't forgotten the true meaning, the reason for the season.
Wow.
Is there a war on Christmas?
No. Well, I don't think there's a war on Christmas in the way people want you to think there's a war on Christmas. I think people are like, they're taking I said, I think when people say there's a war on Christmas, they mean that people are asking. They say, people are asking us to take down our Christmas cards and are not letting us have Christmas cards or whatever, which is wrong. I think there's a war on Christmas in the sense that consumerism has taken over completely, and that they'll start flogging Christmas at you in September, and all we care about is the adverts that we're seeing, and the Black Friday sale for in the UK, where we don't even celebrate Thanksgiving, but we have a Black Friday sale for people to buy Christmas presents, has started the week before Thanksgiving, which is madness. And I
gotta say, just on that, I do feel like people have forgotten the true meaning of Black Friday. It's become so damn commercialised.
On that though, I have really struggled with Amazon this Christmas, because I think the easiest way to buy someone a Christmas present is to be like, oh, give me your Amazon wish list, but then I'll just buy something else and it'll be fine. But then I'm also like, do I want to support Jeff Bezos, who is hashtag eat the rich, my guy?
There's a man who is boosting all of those guillotine design plans in such a big way.
I'm trying to explain that without coming across like a cynical dickhead.
Oh, and you don't want to be that dickhead.
I don't want to be that dickhead.
At that stage, you might as well buy him a goat from Oxfam.
Yeah.
Other goats are available.
Yeah. And I'll have people be like, oh, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, I genuinely can't think of anything that I want, because I just can't think of anything. But then people saying to me, oh, well, it's not about what you need necessarily. Because I'll be like, so my sister was like, oh, do you want any clothes or anything? Oh, well, I don't need any clothes. I have plenty of clothes. I don't need anything. She's like, yeah, but it's more about what you want sometimes than what you need. I mean, true.
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. But also,
if you're one of Laura's friends or family, buy her Jack Daniels. Or a packet of Jack Daniels flavored crisps.
But it's it's not all about what you want. I don't want to have to be I would rather not receive any presents, or somebody buy me useless crap that I'm not
fuck
gonna
is
use.
wrong with you? No. I want presents, and also I want lots of presents.
I don't
know. I'm still a kid. My parents were really great with this. They would give us lots of little presents, as well as one or two reasonably significant presents. And they were never particularly wealthy, but they were like chocolate coins, or some stupid little, Pez dispenser toy, or a bouncing board. Pez dispensers. Yo-yos.
If there are any Drabs friends out there, buy them a Pez dispenser for Christmas.
Pez dispenser for Drabs. I want a yo-yo. I freaking love yo-yos.
Yeah. The ones that sleep,
Yeah. Well, actually, any yo-yo sleeps if you're good enough at it, man.
I'm going to give you a yo-yo and watch you try and sleep it.
Oh, totally. I can walk the dog. I can do around the world. I kill it around the world.
Mate, watch me brain twister.
Okay. We're gonna do a video podcast of the last ever yo-yo off, assuming we can find some. Laura's like, what is a yo-yo?
I could never tie the loop that goes around your finger.
That is so embarrassing.
I'll tell you what I did have though. I had a Diablo. Did you ever have one of those? Circus skills.
Are you a dude with dreads at a festival who wants to bang 18-year-olds? Is that?
I could do a good elevator with one of them.
But legitimately, you're the only woman who's ever owned a Diablo.
In fact, I used to go to Circus Skills summer camp when I was a kid.
Again, were you the only girl?
No. There's quite a few of us.
Seriously?
Okay. Yeah. So my sister learned to juggle.
My housemate at university, who
I always wondered where your sister learned to juggle. Yeah.
Okay, so my housemate at university was in the Circus Skills Society at university.
What the hell is wrong with university? How is that even a university?
It's the University of Birmingham, no less.
I just say that I never start my side.
They did a crossover event evening with the Fetish Society.
Oh no!
Okay, now it's getting interesting.
They did
What was the crossover?
I just want you to let your imaginations run wild about circus skills and fetishes.
There is a lot of trapeze work involved in that.
There's so much to unpack there.
Wow, that is special.
Let's talk more about.
Okay.
What were we talking about? Were we talking
gift giving?
Are we done
I love giving gifts. I want to give gifts. I want to get gifts. and like thoughtful gifts, I think they're beautiful. Keeping Jesus in it though.
Absolutely. So
Christmas cards that actually have the nativity on them.
That's
that used to
nice.
be a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Especially if you're giving like Christmas stuff to non-Christians, like it's it's an opportunity to be more religious without looking like a penis.
Yep.
That's not nothing.
And there are other opportunities to present themselves at Christmas time, I guess.
Like the Cliff Richard songs.
Cliff Richard songs. Email them links to Cliff Richard songs. You could email you.
I remember getting super angry at my church when I was a recently converted fundamentalist because the Christmas service, I wanted to make it full-on balls-out evangelism, like hand out tracts and like DVDs with Christian bands on them, and like do a really evangelistic turn or burn kind of message in the thing. And the reason why they wouldn't was they were like, oh, but it's kind of mostly about the kids. And I'm like, this is the one service where it is overflowing with people who never come to church. Surely, as a fundamentalist church, we would take this seriously, but apparently not as seriously as the kiddies showing what freaking toys they got. Now, turns out that's actually a great way to get, and that's why people come to church. But, that bugged me as a fundamentalist, less so now. Now I'm just like, ugh.
Do you ever do the handing out Christmas cards to the neighbourhood? So this is a thing. I think this is a thing that I've seen a couple of churches do. Where you have the card with all of the services that's happening in your church.
Oh yeah.
And then you take your allotted streets.
Oh, you get your streets.
And then you hand them out. Do you just
cool.
put it
Done
all
that.
all
Yeah.
the doors?
Nice.
You
Used to do that
take
all
a
the time
street.
as a kid.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to make yourself known, because people will actually want to come and do the...
And they were saying, I was at my home church this morning, and they were saying, like, we get phone calls every year of people who say thank you very much for like giving us this like card through our door, which is really nice.
It's fine. I mean, like, to be honest, given like just outsource that. Do you know what I mean? Like, just way more cost effective. Just
Merry Christmas.
like, you don't actually need your church members to put that through people's mailboxes. There's
if there's one time in the year that you're gonna
services that do that.
Okay, but I do like the fact that people go to church on Christmas.
Yes.
What should churches be doing on Christmas when people who wouldn't ordinarily go into church, like, because there's obviously kind of two ways that you can take it. You can either go, look, let's make them feel as comfortable as possible, or you can go, well, shit, we got them once a year. Like,
I think do a proper sermon is like a really good way in. I feel like a lot of carol services fall into the easy gap of like we'll do the readings and we'll do the kind of the carols in between the readings, and that'll be our thing. But actually I think going full ham, doing a proper sermon, not even a necessarily Christmas related sermon, I think is a good in,
nice.
Go full evangelism, like do a proper like, I don't know, this is why you should be here every week, like go crazy.
I would do whatever is most fruitful and most effective. So, swear that.
The Ben Drabs story.
Do we need to A/B test this and find out what gets the most Alpha Course sign-ups? Because ultimately, that's that's what I'm going to care most about. So,
and ultimately, also a lot of this could be soft branding and just witness. Hey, I don't hate that church. I think they're alright. And when it comes down to it, I had a good time there and they were nice to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do a lot worse than that in a world where people are being real dicks about their faith in public,
I would really say as well, I think music is a really good way to get people in a weird way. Like, so we have in our church, my home church puts on 2 carol services every year. And for each one, I and a group of other brass players will stand in the foyer and play just Christmas carols on our brass instruments. And like, we will get people come in and they'll say, "Oh, we could hear you playing all the way up the street." And like, people, I'm pretty sure people have in the past kind of just like walked past and heard us playing carols and then come in and that's like a...
That's very cool. What is your instrument?
A baritone horn.
Baritone horn.
the well-known member of the horn family.
Actually, my nickname in prison.
So, what's your church doing this Christmas?
So my church, I go to Hillsong in Oxford, and they've got a big carol service in London, which I actually have to tell you about because it looks amazing. And I've never been to one of these, so I am very much just telling you about it as somebody who's seen the trailers, and they look incredible. On the 15th of December at... where the hell is it? At the SSE Arena, Wembley. Wow, that's Wembley Arena.
That's quite big.
Yeah, it's kind of okay. Yeah, so Wembley Arena, and it's called London Carols 2019. It's £5 a ticket, which is nothing, obviously, and like. There's an 11 a.m. service, a 3:30 service that's already sold out, and a 7:30 service. And they basically rent out Wembley Arena, and then they do this huge production with like carols and dancing and drama and fireworks and light displays and like Hillsong, they know how to put on a show, and the production values are amazing. So I'm going to go this year. I'm going to that, and I'm going to go to the Greenbelt Christmas thing, which I think will be quite different from each other. But that's kind of the space that I occupy is between Hillsong and Greenbelt. And Hillsong, I'm expecting to be like Christmas in Vegas.
That's what it looks like from the trailer.
Yeah, you got to check it out, actually. If you go to hillsong.com/UK/carols, you should check it out. You should buy some tickets to that, and I will see you there. And then the other thing you can go to that I think would be pretty cool is the Greenbelt carols in, what's it called, from Bolton to Bethlehem. Bolton or Barton is where they host Greenbelt Festival usually, which is a progressive Christian festival, so very kind of lefty, justice-orientated, and they're doing a Christmas thing on the 5th of... I'm looking at the poster. Is it the 4th? Yes, the 4th. Wednesday the 4th of December at Union Chapel in London, starting at 7 p.m. It's hosted by Harry and Chris, who we love.
Oh, guys.
It also has folk on, who are amazing. Bridget Minamore, Kate Botley off of Gogglebox, and a whole bunch of artists, as well as at the OK Christmas Chorale. Anyway, there's lots of traders from Palestine, and it's more of a kind of justice oriented. If you want to know how you can do an ethical Christmas,
they'll have the answer.
They will have the answer. Greenbelt know how to do ethical everything as a Christian, so you should go and check them out. And it's greenbelt.org.uk/Christmas. Tickets are £20, and that is the 4th of December. So the 4th of December and the 15th of December, two very different Christmas things. I'm going to go to both. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. You guys doing any kind of Christmas observances?
I love a good Christmas choir. I'm into a Christmas choir in a big way. Like, give me any opportunity to sing the Didcot for Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and I am there. Like, flipping love it. That's it.
Excellent.
Very nice. I like to do an Advent reading. I don't know about you guys, but yeah.
So Advent readings, yes. Do you have any good ones to suggest?
Well, I think last year I did, and it came out a couple of years ago, but I did Paula Gooder's something about waiting. Snap. I should have looked this up. Paula Gooder. Try Paula Gooder waiting, and you'll find something. She did a lovely Advent series. This year, a former colleague of mine called David Kerrigan did one. He actually released it last year. It's about peace and war, maybe.
I think it's called, wait, I got it out here. The Prince of Peace in a World of Wars, applying the message of God's love to a needy world.
Okay, I'm 100% going to do that this year. And I'm looking forward to that.
It's very cool. I've got the book. I have read bits of it, but I want to read the whole thing, kind of going through Advent as well. I think it starts on the 6th of December, so you can buy it, from, I'm assuming Amazon, but probably from somebody better. I think it's a Bible Reading Fellowship who put it out.
Nice.
So, wait, we can actually check that out. I'm pretty sure you can see
Also,
on the cover, not on this pixelated bastard.
Beautiful.
No, you can't.
the Paula Gooder book is The Meaning is in the Waiting. So you're all there.
The Spirit of Advent. Excellent. So you could do a lot worse than Paula Gooder and David Kerrigan. So there's your Christmas reading sorted. Okay, Christmas movies. I'm not going to lie. I joined a home group at my church, and I've always run my own home groups because I'm a dick, and but I was like, no, I want to get involved in a church home group, and then at my first kind of meeting of the church home group, they had a conversation about, what's your favorite Christmas movie, which already obviously made me want to take my own life, but I was like, no, that's fine, and I had no idea that Christmas movies is a genre. Yeah. Wow. And also, when they were mentioning them, I had not seen them or did not care for them. And I've heard the thing about, Die Hard, it doesn't really strike me as a Christmas movie, but at least it happens at Christmas, and that's something. So I said The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is, Tim Burton, so hardly...
Yeah.
I feel a little bit dirty. I feel the same way about Tim Burton as I do about Neil Gaiman, really, except he's actually done some stuff I like. So I was like, Nightmare Before Christmas. And they were like, ooh, controversial. That's really dark.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
Christmas movies?
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure you will agree that I am greatly awaiting the release of A Christmas Prince 3, The Royal Baby, which the trailer for came out the other day. And it looks like absolute garbage, and I cannot wait to watch it.
Excellent.
Netflix original Christmas films is where it's at. Also greatly awaiting The Night Before Christmas, which is, Night.
Oh,
but
with the K. I've seen that on Netflix. Yeah.
Time-traveling knight who meets Vanessa Hudgens, and I cannot wait to watch it. I'm very excited.
Christmas is garbage, I think. I really loved a movie a few years ago now on Spear Films, SPIER Films, called Son of Man, which is a South African retelling of the Jesus story. It's quite liberation theology. It doesn't include the resurrection, and I know at the time that bugged me a lot. In retrospect, still sounds pretty cool. And it's done in a kind of contemporary fictional African country, which is basically South Africa. And the opening scene with the nativity is just very cool. It's kind of a war-torn African country, and the angels are kids. It's actually quite sweet and quite beautiful. That whole movie is actually amazing. It's called Son of Man. You should really watch it.
Yeah,
I think you'll dig it.
Nice.
Much more highbrow than A Christmas Prince.
Very similar vibes, I think. Very similar. What is the crucifixion scene like in A Christmas Prince?
There is a bit in the first one where...
Wow, I did not expect there to be an answer to that.
I think somebody's birth certificate is hidden in an acorn, but like a model acorn that somebody's carved. That's quite funny.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah.
That's pretty dark. Drabs, Christmas movies.
Nothing to add to that.
Nothing to add. What's it? Gremlins. You never watched Gremlins?
Nope.
The Santa Claus. Also.
Nope.
Not Polar Express.
Nope.
At least. Oh.
Nope. Is that like Pizza Express?
We used to read the Polar Express every Christmas Eve.
Yeah, no, not a thing.
No.
I do get annoyed every time I look for ghost stories, classic ghost stories, and then somebody suggests The Christmas Carol, so I want to slap them. Yeah. So that's about.
I have a good contribution. We used to, as children, watch the Crippled Lamb.
What the hell? Dark crap. Wow. Okay, listen, the crucifixion scene in Son of Man doesn't sound so dark anymore.
Yeah, Tim Burton doesn't sound so dark.
Yeah.
It was about a little lamb that was crippled and couldn't go and graze on the pasture.
I don't think they use that word anymore.
And he couldn't graze on the pasture with all the big lambs, so he stayed behind in the stable.
And he didn't get slaughtered.
And then what? No.
Well, the bigger lambs would have been.
Then a family come and they come to the stable and they give birth to a little baby and he cuddles with the crippled lamb.
That's not gonna.
I flipping loved that, but it had songs in it. It was great. I flipping loved that.
Alrighty, do we have anything else to say about Christmas? We're reaching the end of the. We are running out. We're reaching the end of the beer, which is terrible.
That sounds like a good time to
probably
pause.
to pause for a second before we say goodbye. All right, we're gonna go get a drink. You just sit there. All right, we are back for the final few minutes of the Christmas episode. I mean, there may be other Christmas episodes. I mean, Halloween turned into about 9, 10. episodes. So, of Beer Christianity. Thank you for listening to Beer Christianity. You can find all of our stuff on beerchristianity.libsyn.com. Please review us. Please rate us. What are we drinking, Drabs?
Yeah, we're on a Moretti this time, and do you know what glass it's in?
A Moretti glass.
I know.
Cheers! Excellent. Cheers! Okay, one other shout out though to somebody who, Melky, the designer who also reviewed us, the man who we don't know, total stranger Melky who designed our logo, which I love. He has a friend called Kenny, who is, in Melky's words, he's in Milton Keynes, but he's Scottish, so he's sound. And he apparently liked the Doug Van Pelt episode and was enjoying the podcast. So we just wanted to say, hey, Kenny, thanks for listening.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for listening, and for being along for the ride.
Yeah. Thank you, Kenny.
And okay. So final thoughts on Christmas movies. I like The Muppet Christmas. I always thought that was very good. Oh, it's so good. If you like, terrible Christmas movies, you're gonna love that. And Muppets take us straight into Boris Johnson.
Hey.
Just a quick round because he's in the news all the time. Yeah. Boris Johnson. One thing you like about him, one thing you don't like about him.
I like that he got stuck on a zip wire once.
That's pretty cool.
I enjoy that.
That's solid.
Yeah.
What don't you like about him?
Most things.
You've got to pick one.
Do I have to?
You do. In the interests of not getting fined by the Electoral Commission.
Oh, no.
For being too pro.
Let me think.
Okay, what about you? One thing you like, one thing you don't like.
What do I like about Boris Johnson? I remember, and I regret saying this now, I regret saying it then, but there was this thing when he was Mayor of London, there was just like, dude gets stuff done. Yeah, I hate myself for saying that, but it was something I said 5 years ago, and I kind of stand by, so I suppose that's what I'll go with. And if there's something that I do not like about him, it is, again, one thing, right?
I'm struggling to narrow it down to a thing.
Can we is his voting record too broad? Like literally everything he has voted for and against, I disagree with.
On what basis?
What other than he's a Tory? I guess that.
That's something I just like about him. He's a Tory. There we go.
Yeah.
He has consistently voted for policies and voted through policies that oppress the most vulnerable people in society.
Yep, that's a thing to dislike. So there we go. Balanced views from both Laura and Drabs. Things I like about him. I like a man who quotes shit in Latin and who is not ashamed of the classics, and does that in a quite funny way. He was funny a few years ago. He's not funny anymore, is he? He's fucking terrifying. But I like that about him. I think that's cool. I dislike the racism and the disdain for the most needy in our society, and that's being put into policy in a way that people might actually vote for it. That I dislike a lot. Yeah.
It's just worth adding as part of the conversation, but I'm sure we'll do a proper politics podcast at some point. I'll also say the same about Jo Swinson, and I despise her voting record. But that's a conversation for
What do you like about her?
Because we do need to see that. I like about Jo Swinson.
This is getting into the area where we've got too much of the backing music for copyright purposes. Okay.
Do a quick Google search of Jo Swinson to find out something I like about her. I don't know a lot about her.
I like that she stepped up. The Lib Dems had a leadership vacuum, and she was not the obvious choice necessarily, but she just said, "Screw it, I'm going to step up." Because of what I believe in.
Even with her awful, voting record.
I like that she's the youngest person to be the head of the Liberal Democrats. That's cool. She's the first woman and youngest person to be the leader of the Liberal Democrats.
And something you dislike?
Again, the voting record thing does not swing well in my favour. The whole abstaining to vote on the NHS thing about
somebody who doesn't. Yeah, what I like about her,
We had to think of something. We had to narrow down the list.
She's well spoken. I like that. I like that in a human being. Ben is mouthing that she's quite northern. Honestly, I can't remember how she speaks. This is the best thing I can say about her. You know what? The best thing I can say about her is she's not a Tory. And that a lot of her supporters are actually really nice people.
I know some of us.
I actually, our local guy, I wrote to him to say, do you need like some kind of funding injection to pay for glasses for your activists or some kind of literacy training, because they don't seem to be able to read the note on my door. And the dude is such a nice chap. So what I like about Jo Swinson is that some of her candidates for the general election are lovely people. And what I don't like about her is that she's probably going to split the left vote. And that bugs me a lot.
By northern, do you mean Scottish?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Sorry, Kenny. Like we didn't mean that at all. Okay. All right. Listen, we got very little time, but we wanted to say one more thing, which was about Kanye's album.
Yeah.
What do we think about Kanye's album?
I liked it. I listened to it once, and I liked it.
What about you?
Oh, I didn't even know he had a new album.
What? Why were you wanting to talk about Kanye? It was your idea.
Because my Twitter feed is erupting with these well-meaning lefty Christians slating Kanye because he showed up. One, because he's become a Christian, and that's apparently offensive to liberals these days.
Yeah.
And two, because he went on stage with Joel Osteen,
Yes.
who is a televangelist.
Yeah.
And they found that deeply offensive. And I was like, but what if the Spirit of God is actually working in the heart of Kanye West? And
his latest album is called Jesus is King.
Okay, didn't
it's full gospel. Full gospel.
Also, like this, I listened to this guy, and the thing with the Joel Osteen, which was the Twitter clip that was kept being retweeted on my feed and all the rest of it, was him saying the greatest artist God has ever created has just become a Christian or something. Which I was like, do you know what? That reminds me of the day after my conversion to Christianity. When, and you have this like...
went on Twitter and...
I didn't, but in my head it was like, damn, Jesus is lucky to have me, do you know what I mean? And then...
Actually, I had a similar thing before I became a Christian. I was like, I'm going to be unstoppable if I join your team, guys.
I know, right?
Just, you should be...
And this is the thing, the thing, that people think that because you label yourself a Christian, that just because you're in the public eye, that perfection somehow follows, and that they forget that conversion and discipleship don't always
happen at exactly the same time. Yeah.
And like, I was a douchebag the day after I became a Christian. I'm a douchebag today, and I still make mistakes. I'm still an arrogant.
Yeah,
prick.
exactly.
And it's like, do you know what I mean? Just rejoice in the fact that there is a chance that the Lord Jesus Christ is working in the life of Kanye West.
And also, of all the years that we've been like, if only we had some influence, in the public, eye, and Hollywood ignores us and the music industry ignores us, literally the most visible and influential artist of our generation has just confessed Jesus Christ as Lord. Now, the dude's a Republican, and I dislike that intensely. I'm not a massive fan of Joel Osteen, not just because he doesn't say anything. And, to say...
Great smile.
He does look like... There's somebody else he looks like. He looks like an Osmond. I want to say that. And and saying I'm the greatest artist that has ever lived, or that God has created, and I'm now serving him, is a very special kind of... Although I definitely kind of evolved from thinking, wow, the Christians are lucky to have me, to thank you, Jesus, that I am now not leading a death cult, because that was probably the trajectory. I
mean, Kanye is batshit insane.
Yeah, he really is.
We'll see how this one plays out, but...
Yeah. But at the same time, apparently it's quite a decent album. I've listened to it once. It's alright. It's not my kind of stuff, but... it's not Gold Digger, but it's, it's fine.
It's not Paris, but...
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, so Merry Christmas, Kanye. I'm sure you're listening. Kanye, if you are listening, listen, just a tweet, hey? Just a tweet. Could you follow us just for a little bit? Because
as brothers and sisters in Christ.
we are your brothers and sisters, and we would very much like to. Yes, Kanye. People need to stop being dicks about that, though. I think that's the main thing. Yeah, important. I think
Just in general.
Just in general, could we stop being dicks? That'd be great.
Yes.
Being Christianity 2019.
Yeah.
Just stop being
And Kanye, we'd love to chat about your politics as well.
Kanye,
Kanye, get in touch.
if you work for Kanye and you want to get in touch with us, we'd love to do
at yahoo.com.
That's what, and you have to email. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. Also, final thing: greatest artist ever to come to Christ. If it's not Kanye, who is it?
I feel like a case can be made for Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood. What the hell not? Oh, are you kidding me? Carrie, I'm not debating the Christianity. I'm debating the great artist.
Okay, but Before He Cheats is an absolute
Okay, no, that is a killer song, to be fair. Before He Cheats is solid.
That is my case.
My vote would be Bob Dylan, whose second album after becoming a Christian was called Saved! !
That's pretty cool.
Are you going to go that guy from Korn?
No.
So, by the rule of these sorts of podcasts, that defaults to Evanescence. I believe that's what it is. So, just to be clear, Drabs has chosen Evanescence because he failed to choose. So that's Bob Dylan, Carrie Underwood, and Evanescence. That's it. Alrighty. Okay, we got to say goodbye now. Thank you so much for listening to Beer Christianity.
Wait.
Do check us out, beerchristianity.libsyn.com. Thank you for listening to Beer Christianity. To everybody in Russia, Nepal, Afghanistan,
Virginia,
Texas,
Philadelphia.
a lot of guys in Philly, everybody in the southeast of England, as well as Scotland, as well as everywhere else. So yeah.
That was part of this episode. Man, you've been here for so long.
I know, crazy, right? Thanks so much for listening. Merry Christmas. Do remember the Greenbelt Christmas, the Hillsong Christmas, David Kerrigan, Paula Gooder,
A Christmas Prince.
a Christmas Prince, and of course, Jesus' own choice. The
Joe
night
Swinson.
before. Only Joe Swinson can win this poll. Thanks for listening.